All right now, welcome back, all the Degens in the building. Voice of the Degens, episode 8. I feel like Rocky or something, like Apollo Creed or something, man. We just keep going, man. Shit's getting crazy. The market shit the bed this week. We're definitely gonna talk about that. We got 5 topics today, as always, per usual. Topic 1, why decentralized exchanges make sense. Examining the case for DEXs and assessing their strengths and weaknesses. Topic 2, how to remain authentic in the public eye. I think that's going to be a pretty hot topic. Topic 3, the legalization of sports betting in the USA and its impacts. Topic 4, coping with rejection in the music industry. Topic 5, privacy and anonymity in the crypto space. So we got some based-ass topics today. We got some based-ass guests today. Everybody weighing in, the community's here. We got Face, Spring is dead, Mark is in the building, Dark Shots in the building, Bandy Shoots in the building, You Know's in the building. And of course, I'm your host with the most, RickeyTru. Gonna take a short song break. And we'll be right back in a minute with topic 1 on the Voice of the Degens.
I'm on some record G shit. On some proof of paper hands. That's what I need the proof. Call them out. Show me that TX hash. Got some little lads, and I'm a big stepper. Big can, aka the G wrecker. Got the proof of paper hands, then I keep stepping. Voice of the Degens, I'ma keep repping. Got my snapper by out, and I ain't concealing. 7 Max Riders, tell me how you feeling. I've been wrecking all these G's, and I know you feel it. And if you don't, then you sold, and I know you did it. We be tryna hit the moon, you tryna make a ceiling. That's when I know that I gotta get them. I'm like, yeah, the bank don't wanna take my millions. Drop 20 beans on your cell to show you how I'm feeling. They was scheming, they was plotting, I was manifesting. Then I heard about the record G collection. I gotta buy 2 or 3 to show them how I'm stepping. You could tell them Ricky with the slaps repping. Y'all some little lads, and I'm a big stepper. Big can, aka the G wrecker. Got the proof of paper hands, then I keep stepping. Voice of the Degens, I'ma keep repping. Got the devs out here begging for immunity. They don't wanna pay for marketing, they losing it. A project ain't shit without community. I be acting brand new, but ain't shit new to me. Microphone checker, let me show you cheap records. How you going, record G? How to be a big stepper. First you put 10 beans to the side. If they sell, then you buy. Yeah, you slide. Yeah, you wreck them. Buy a little more to scare them off. And if they buy back in, then you mute them in the TG. Don't respect them. And if you want some extra points, then you can post our ox addy with the TX hash to let us know you wreck them. Once again, microphone checker. I just showed you G records. How to record G. How to be a big stepper. Get the proof of paper hands and the G records. Cause the G records always trendsetters. And they some little lads. And I'm a big stepper. Big can, aka the G record. Got the proof of paper hands, then I keep stepping. Voice of the Degens, I'ma keep repping.
All right, back at it. Topic 1, why decentralized exchanges make sense, and examining the case for DEXs and assessing their strengths and weaknesses. All right, I'll start it off. Anybody hear about Binance this week? I know you heard about Binance. Every person in here. And every person listening, if you don't know what Binance is, it's a centralized exchange with decentralized mechanisms within it. It's I don't know if we could say it's one of the bigger chains, but it definitely is top three, right? I think ETH covers a lot more ground and is a lot more friendly when it comes to centralized exchanges dealing with it. Um, Binance shit the bed this week because the SEC filed a lawsuit. And in that lawsuit, they considered a lot of what we see in our space is a grand scheme of things of securities. Because they were back with USD. And though they're not going to stop using BUSD or USDT, they no longer will take transactions in America with USD as a pair. They shut down the pairs. That's a fair thought to start with when we talk about why decentralized exchanges are the way to go. I think most people enjoy the fact that they get to hold on to their assets and it's not controlled. I mean, paper money's gone, right? They're getting rid of that. We know that's happening this month. That's happening not this month, but next month, but within the next 30 days. They're taking some really big steps to just get rid of the US dollar. If we're talking about cash, well, a decentralized exchange, unless a DEX, unless they can blacklist or they'll agree to blacklist something, they can't really turn off your switch per se. And the guys that live in this space we're in, and as the technology steps up even more, we're going to be able to beat you to the punch. It's going to cost people or institutions a lot of money to try to block your access to these assets you hold. Let's get Secret Agent Q in here. How you doing, brother?
Oh, Ricky, you don't know. You don't know. Um, Honestly, man, in terms of if it comes to it, I think decentralized business entities will choose to essentially cut the US off from the rest of the world rather than try and fight their way through what kind of legalized warfare that they're attempting to pull now. Um, what the average street dweller doesn't really know is it doesn't take a lot of money to set up geofencing on their websites. So if an entity genuinely believes that the US is a threat to their business, they will simply turn the geofencing on, and most of the average person on the street will no longer be able to access those websites anymore. Um, Decentralized exchanges, they can operate like it's essentially a series of smart contracts. It's you can't, if you're smart enough to get around the geofencing techniques that are available, then yeah, you got access to your funds. But if you're just somebody who gambles every now and again on a shitcoin, who just holds their money on a wallet, going to a decentralized exchange, if you don't know how to get around the fencing in the near future, will become a problem. I think it'll only take, and it'll only be a matter of time until they apply enough force for bigger decentralized autonomous organizations to just go, well, the risk isn't worth it for our holders in like a universal sense rather than a US isolated sense. And they will take steps to protect themselves. It's business, it's not personal, you know?
Righteous. Do you think that there are plotting from the other side to do away with finding a brick wall to put up against decentralized exchanges? Whereas when you're in a
Well,
centralized exchange, literally somebody can push a button and just freeze your assets.
well, honestly, like that's actually possible, and it doesn't matter where your assets are held. If somebody wants you to stop moving that money with enough gusto, they can do it. Like you watched the bridge hacks this and last year. Some of those bridge hack funds, all like especially with Binance's bridge hack, all CZ had to do was make about, I don't know, 20 phone calls, and he was having assets seized on his own chain. He was having assets seized on fucking Ethereum. It was money going left, right, and center, and he managed to recoup about fucking 75% of it just by making phone calls. Don't fall for the whole. It's the moment it's in your wallet, it's your money, because in a lot of those circumstances, it still really isn't. If the right people know what people to call.
So, the average person getting into Web3, they hear this, they say, well, then how does this benefit me in any way if the same powers that be, or different powers that be, more powerful powers that be, actually can stop this still? And what are the guidelines on what would make something get froze by any entity? And to think about the hot wallets, or the not hot wallets, cold storage, the cold storage wallets, the ledger. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Well,
I don't
Ledger's
know.
just a name brand, but hardware wallets is the category. And really, it shouldn't be a question of who's the good and who's the bad guy in this situation. It's who you really genuinely believe has the average person's interest at heart in regards to your privilege or your right to transact on the network. I think the average user doesn't really have a lot to fear about having their USDT or their fucking Ethereum frozen just because you decided to use a VPN to go around a geofence. It's only the people who are on the extreme end of every scale that has real, that have real skin in that game of, if I do this, am I going to have that money taken off me? So white, grey hat hackers, large-scale entities that are doing questionable things, bit like government, like international governmental business ventures, that sort of thing, where like essentially the machines that we abide by in the fiat-based world trying to reach into the crypto world to govern it the same way as we have seen in the last 100 years. That, like proper rebels of that is who needs to be concerned about how chains work and how your assets are managed across those networks.
Now, we deal with the strength. Today we're dealing with the assessing the strengths and the weaknesses. What are the strengths inside of centralized exchange, in your opinion?
Strengths of a centralized exchange. Well, that's a hard one to say, because all the recent setup has been about governments trying to exploit essentially the weaknesses of a centralized exchange, which is obviously the fact that everybody's money is tied up in as little wallets as they otherwise need to reach into if they wanted to manipulate the system. I think the strength of centralized exchange is it. It's more of a one-stop shop in terms of a standard person getting into crypto. So, um, if you're essentially putting money on a high-ranked exchange, if I said you put money on Binance last year, you put money there, that's a pretty fair bet that they've got your interests in mind. They've got reasonably tight security. They plan on holding your money in a reasonably ethical sort of fashion, and what you've got there, you can generally take out. Plus, you've got on and off ramp services that are well connected, well funded, reputation standpoint, reasonably well positioned to uh, essentially what is it? Give you what you want when you want,
Righteous
if
in
that
a
makes
safe way,
sense. Yeah.
in the safest possible way. But I've seen the other side of that is I've seen exchanges get hacked, and I've never seen an exchange that got hacked completely bounce back to, well, it's hard to say now because when you're in a bear like you are right now, it's easy to to say, yeah, they never got back to their hype. But I've seen some
Well,
fall apart.
yeah. Well, it's pretty fucking clear by now that the high tier ranked exchanges that we all know and somewhat trust, they're pretty on it when it comes to security. They're obviously, because everyone's money is there, that's where the hackers are going to try and get in. That's a no-brainer. It's right up there with bridges. You go where the money's at.
Right.
But the fact that they haven't had such an egregious breach where all the money has suddenly vaporized from the cold storage of the exchange, would be testament to say that they're relatively on it in terms of security. And I would hope that they'd stay on it in the same similar fashion that a bank otherwise would. Australia's banks actually have whole divisions set up 24/7 to navigate and mitigate attacks and scams that come through, even by people who unwittingly give their money to the fucking hackers. Central exchanges aren't quite there, but they're right up there.
What about FTX?
Well, that was obviously a big exchange that didn't have your interests at heart now, isn't it?
They were major. They were major.
Huge. And yeah, it's sort of, at the end of the day, it rolls back to that whole trust factor. Who do you trust to hold your money? And in the decentralized world, that's one of the big pain points. Degens and anons and OGs of the network alike have all said time and again, don't keep your money on central exchanges, because at the end of the day, you're putting a lot of trust in not a lot of people.
And I'm a firm believer in being as close to my money as I can. And though I don't know everything about how SafePal does what they do, or how Trust Wallet does what they do, it's almost like an industry standard at this point when it comes to the chains I deal with, and even a MetaMask. I'm not sure what they're doing when these wallets are generated and whatnot, but I do feel like I'm closer to my money. I BS you not. I was playing a little game on a website that gave me $4, turned it into 300. And then I sent said funds off, and I felt so close to it. I didn't feel good with the website holding my money, right? I just wanted to be as close as I could back to it. And I feel like I've been preaching it for 2 years, but keep your money in a wallet. When they say a decentralized exchange, really assess what it is. It's letting me look at assets that I like to look at. If we're gonna call them assets, we're gonna call them assets. I'm not gonna call them assets. I guess I am gonna call them assets. I'm not gonna call them securities, right? But I want to be able.
Well, the broad consensus of the whole regulation saga is that they're digital assets, man. They're property. They're not really coins. They're not currency at the moment. They're for tax purposes. They're assets, and we should be referring to them as.
Who has assets? Righteous. I feel like I'm closer to my assets. I challenge every person, at least 5 people a week. Yo, get you a crypto wallet. And just that term alone, even though it's so generalized, it sounds like a hard thing to do. They don't necessarily understand how easy it is. Like, I sign up for Facebook, it's the same process. But now you have an understanding, but then you have to teach. They don't understand, and it's like maybe a lot of the world isn't used to owning assets. Go ahead, secret agent.
Well, there's 2 points on that. For me, the first one would be I would actually extend the challenge just that little bit further, and I would say if you're going to get a crypto wallet, I would also challenge the person to do a Google search and understand the basic structure of how that wallet operates. Because not every wallet is the same. The security around every wallet isn't the same. There's a reason why Trust Wallet and MetaMask are basically the industry standard in regards to holding your crypto on an online wallet. And it was proven relatively recently with the Atomic Wallet hacks. People don't understand what's going on there. There's thousands of addresses that have been bled dry because there's obviously an exploit in the coding into how to create these wallets that somebody's figured out how to use. But on the other point, if they ask you, like if they try and say, oh, it's very hard, I don't quite understand how it operates, I would refer them back to how Google does their single sign-in system now. I've noticed very recently that a lot of these app developers that are working in Web3 are creating sign-in via Google setups. They're using the existing one-click sign-ins from Facebook, Google, and the other big companies to tailor an experience that is convenient to the user. The Web3 wallets are going to be the same thing, just via a different technology delivery method.
That was deep, bro. I see we got Rick Stoner in the building. I see we got Wiz in the building. You know, the gang just keeps growing. Anybody else want to throw any ideas about Rick Stoner? Talk to me. Why do decentralized exchanges make sense? Give me the last words on this topic.
No, kind of things are a shout out, RickeyTru. We should go. Well, let's go there before we answer that question. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Love the show already. It's only my second episode checking you guys out, and I already want to go back, check out the playbook.
Yeah.
Why is decentralization important? Oof, this is going to be mind-blowing. So that we stop having inflation bring us to near global chaos every time, because the current financial system is broken, and we need relief. We all need to eat. It's kind of emotional a bit, this answer for me, because the whole thing of crypto is to fix it. And we're having troubles trying to fix it because now they want to try and control our decentralization, going, oh, well, look, it might be right. I don't know what's going to happen next. I just know that this is what we need and that it's going to evolve around what the governance forces are trying to do. So it's really interesting what the last gentleman, Sacred Agent, said about the convenience of one-click security. Our planet has to adopt, and decentralization has to be a little bit easier for the end user. And once I think they see how it can help global finance, that more people will click into it. That's a weird answer, but that's my answer.
Do you believe, I'll ask this as well. Do you believe that when people substitute safety for convenience, and I believe that a lot of the conveniences we take, we give up our safety. It could be simple as I don't want to drive to get my food, but I'll hit DoorDash and I'll give a company my address. I'm doing so much that you're not really second guessing, but you're giving up your safety for convenience. Your thoughts on that when it comes to decentralization?
It's really wise, actually, that you proceeded with this next part of this question, because I think it's a problem that you and I, a lot of us, have seen. People getting accounts stolen or liquidation of accounts, and then they say, oh, well, I had two-factor and I had this and I had that, and then they don't know that they can actually give up their security key with certain developed phishing techniques that people do to people in this industry. That would be the part right there. Will this sabotage the phishing industry that is trying to sabotage people's wealth creation? Now that I myself am developing some apps, and I am looking at the big giants like Google, and again, what Secret Agent said, how there was something really important in there, how showing the one click attracts people. So there we got a problem. We have this attraction of people to the convenience of, look, at one button, I'm not safe, and I can do banking, right? I press one button and I can transfer you $1,000. One button. Well, how do they secure that exactly? The only way really is going to be by how they say that the law is possession is 1/10 of the law or something. I can't remember that saying.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
That's it. If I have your phone, I have your money. If you have my phone, you have my money. Maybe that's how simple it's going to come down to it. And that's the only kind of security that we might be able to have in the future. So maybe we are needing to develop new ways to evolve our own security. Phone gets 10 yards away from me, it disables. It doesn't get to do things because it has all of my stuff in there, my money, my wealth, my everything, right? And then so somebody runs away with my phone, boom, it's disabled. I don't have to worry. I just go back to the iPhone store, I sign in, I do my Google, I do my whatever, and my money's still there, right? We're going to have a huge problem with one-click authority to transfer money. I don't know how we're going to get past it yet. Put little RFID chips in the back of all of our skulls to know that when our phone's away from us. No, it's going to get real interesting, Rick.
Don't joke, man, because that's most likely what's going to happen.
Exactly. You knew that I was maybe going to go at that, and it's kind of cool that you guys answered in the same way that, yeah, Neuralink might have a part of this new kind of banking, security, and digital techno financial world we're going into. Like, people need to get weird about, when are we going to get robots that can type? As soon as we got robots that type, shit's going to get really weird and real. Sorry for swearing. Because you're going to be able to look at robot and say, like, type for me, and then hack for me, and then steal for me. And right? Like, where's this? We don't know our future. But I definitely would enjoy to hear more about this part. And I see.
Well, dude, like, the hacking aspect's already here, but I think that might be something we should pen in for next week, Ricky. There's a pretty
I think
decent subject on being able to use large language machines to exploit the end user.
Did you hear about the huge upgrade that they just had? For people like myself, who was already into coding, AI, everything, and I'm into the Pi, Orange Pi, and using Python code to interact with things in the world. That
nah, I'm not here. Drop a link on this. Drop a
Oh,
link on this.
this is, yeah, well, it's pretty neat stuff like micro robotics. But what's just happened here? They just announced large language models. Instead of me having to sort through all this stuff and try and figure out which one to use, they're right now have one new for developers like myself where I can just pick. I can go, I want the scientist, I want the doctor, I want the police officer, I want this, and that's my large language model done. So I primary program, and then I start doing my requests from the artificial intelligence. So I don't know if you had one on the AGI yet, artificial general intelligence. Would be neat to have a theme podcast around that, because that's the future right now that's coming fast. Nobody's talking about it because nobody understands it. Everybody's just looking at this AI stuff and it just works, right? Well, wait till it gets smart. Like, come on, guys. We are definitely going to have data off Star Trek walking around on Earth. Well, maybe not walking around, but talking to us through computers or something a lot sooner than we thought. Aren't we? You know, the smart-ass robot is going to come to reality.
Yeah, we need a whole nother episode for this, dude, because,
I got to go into the next topic. We'll be back with how to remain authentic in the public eye. Once again, y'all rocking with the littest podcast in Web3. Voice of the Degens. I'm your host, RickeyTru. See you in a minute.
I'm tired of these charts, I'm tired of these devs. Think about working at Taco Bell. And I really wanted my album in sale. And I'm really winning, can't fit in that shell. They acting with limbo. I need me more ammo. I shoot down the G like a Rambo or 12. But me and my team, we kinda G, so you ain't got the access, you know we gon' sell. I'm with the DGs, we tipping and flipping the scale. Till every one of us whales. We all gon' make blockchain trade. I'm in the base. How many X? I got an 80. I'm in the finesse line, checking for payment. We bought a rocket, we moved them shits straight from the pavement. Half of these devs stays, the other half hating. Fuck it, I double your chart. I look like McGrady. Speak the crypto X daily. The advice you should pay me. I'm tired of these charts, I'm tired of these devs. Think about working at Taco Bell. And I really wanted my album in sale. And I'm really winning, can't fit in that shell. They acting with limbo. I need me more ammo. I shoot down the G like a Rambo or 12. But me and my team, we kinda G, so you ain't gotta ask, cause you know we gon' sell. And they tryna rub, they cleaning the carpet. They tryna fuck, but they just be larping. You tryna 2X, I beg your pardon. I might be a whale, but I got a shark fin. I wreck a G with less than he started with. 2 beans and 2 weeks, I call it the starter kit. I'm in the zone, I'm on my throne, league of my own. I don't want partnership, I just want alpha. I wanna move, one with the zoom. I work finesse, they asking with limo. I need me more ammo, I shoot in the G, but I do it much faster. Fuck all of those cakes, fuck all of that laughter. I'm with the bullshit, I'm with the action. I'm on my DJ, I'm on my savage. I'm on my G, I make magic. Talking charts, tired of these devs. Think about working at Taco Bell. And I really wanted my album in sale. And I'm really winning, can't fit in that shell. They asking with limbo. I need me more ammo, I shoot down the G like a Rambo or 12. But me and my team, we kinda G, so you ain't gotta ask, cause you know we gon' sell. You know we gon' sell.
All right, we back. Voice of the Degens. It's a lit ass first topic. And I think this one is going to be just as lit. How to remain authentic in the public eye. This is like a talent you have to have. With so many projects, with so many companies, with so much copycat culture going on in the world, And in the background, there's these creators, and then there's people who are copycatting them. You know, we were talking about micro mechanics, robots and whatnot. Somebody's got to have the skill base and thought to accomplish these things, only for someone to see it or get their hands on it to sniff it out and just copy it. And I think a lot of, in our space, in this Degen shit, a lot of people don't care about remaining authentic. It shows by the shillers, but you know what? I'll tell you something that stopped happening to me once the bear market came. I stopped getting so many shills. Like literally, I stopped getting so many shills. I remember my inbox would be lit every morning with like 25 shills. Somebody's hitting some scammer, somebody that works for somebody. I don't know how they scraped. Wiz probably gave him the info. Wiz was like, yeah, man, I scraped a few groups. Shout out my man Wiz, that's my TG twin. But remaining authentic in the public eye. I just saw something about BitBoy. The BitBoy hack has stolen over $400,000. What I've heard. I just saw a tweet about it. I also saw somebody else died in the space. High level. They don't touch us guys for some reason. We're like the catfish of this shit, man. The crustaceans on the bottom. Larry the lobster looking ass. Yeah, that's what we are. And they keep knocking off these top guys, man. Do we consider those burn wallets? Back to my topic. I'm not going to go there. How to remain authentic in the public eye. I mean, I got Secret Agent Q already in here. I got Rick Stoner in here. I'm going to bring them both up. Hey,
fired up on that topic.
Go ahead, Rick. Get your nuts off, sir.
When his secret tagged in first, let's hear what you got to say on this, because this is great.
I was just going to say, don't start this topic with BitBoy, otherwise we are going to go wildly off course very fucking quickly.
Well, no, let's not go off course. That fired you up also. Same with me. I'm like,
that was
okay,
authentic.
It was, and you had me laughing, crying, everything during that presentation on this of authentication and people. So let's look at one of the biggest brown wart shills of the whole thing right now. That is a subling. He is the stuff that's still stuck to the bottom of my shoe. BitBoy glue. Okay, it's for the morons. It's for the clickbait morons. Now let's look at Gary V real quick. Let's take an extreme of both of these natures of people who are authentic. We know Gary V is kind of like super authentic, but he's still the biggest loser in the whole entire thing. BitBoy, same thing, super authentic, but he uses a fake name, but he's really big in this whole thing. But what makes them authentic? BitBoy's using a fake name, right? His name's really Ben, but Gary's using his real name. But everything from Gary to me is like an act. He's the epitome of not authentic. But RickeyTru is authentic.
In the public eye. So in perception is everything. And unless you tell me Gary V's possibly hypothetically a piece of shit, right? If you say that, I still go to his videos and I say, well, damn, I still felt like he was authentic. You brought that case scenario. So when I look at it and it says how to remain authentic in the public eye, I'm like, well, public perception is always from a fan or and then the superhero villain. Is it a villain or the superhero? Dilemma that people have mentally.
Isn't
I'm
it
gonna let you go.
interesting though how we the public accept each of these behaviors from these people who are trying to be authentic, where Ben is using a fake name, Gary V is using his real name, but I think Gary V is acting like a good actor or a bad actor. But BitBoy Ben, he isn't acting, he's trying to do things as honest as he can. That's kind of what I meant, and how we receive that. What you were just pointing out at the end, we loathe this. We want this. So how can we make authentic people in this cohesion of crypto when us, the viewers, we like the circus?
Yeah, we've been trained to do that, and it happened since the
straight we
cell
have.
phone is real.
Oh, it's been long before that, dude. Like, if you think about it, humanity has always had an addiction to drama since basically when moving pictures were invented. We've always been addicted to controversy, and we've been addicted to people playing to our emotions. You basically, what you could almost copy scenes from some of your most famous soap, like TV soap dramas, and fucking copy paste them onto the internet, and that's what you've got in terms of crypto Twitter influence at the moment.
I want to throw the weird, really weird diversion in this, but it makes sense. So we all know about 6ix9ine, right? Guy's trying to be authentic. Yep. Then he snitches or something, and then he gets some stitches or something. But now, did he really get those stitches, or was that an act? Now, also, from my perspective, I'm like, I don't even know what's authentic with this guy anymore. You feel me on that? Like, that's another part, is some of them degrade themselves to the point where you don't know what is authentic, and then it almost displeases you so much where it's like, well, let me look for the next clown act. Right?
Yeah, but it's nobody in these people's lives, the ones we're talking about, because I feel the same, like you said, like you got the women degrading themselves in the videos and whatnot. It's like not even, but no one can say that out loud anymore. So it's the Kanye West theory for me. It's like, I could give you 1,000 gems, but the way mass media works, you can take a spoiled gem you can twist something to be a spoiled gem and discredit my 1,000 gems I drop. And since I can't, one thing can detour everything I've done, the thousands of things I've done before, I can no longer be authentic in the public eye, is what most people would think. But I think in my personal journey, and one of the reasons I even do this podcast is because I do it on a decentralized kind of platform. I mean, you can go ahead and pay them people for a stamp that says that and they can have your information. But for the most part, the way I run it is like, man, our anonymity is where it needs to be. You choose to speak if you want to. But I'm one of those guys who is trying to stay authentic throughout it all, because I don't feel like I have to switch it up for you guys. I may take into account that these same episodes go to YouTube, and the audience may not be able to understand all the gems that get dropped here because they're looking for the drama, and you can't find that anymore. Even when I go to talk radio, it's always dilemma dramatized.
Wait, for these announcements, we have global warming.
Right.
As soon as you said like radio, because if they don't catch you one way, they catch you another one, and then a commercial comes out and tries to give you more drama, right? You're so right, Rick. Did you watch that West video that I just did there a week ago, he said some really interesting things about exactly what you're saying right now. How this is all, if RickeyTru starts getting 20,000 views a week, somebody's going to start watching him go for coffee. And then if he gets 100,000 views a week, somebody's going to approach him and say, and offer him gold in a genie bottle or something. Something really weird is going on.
Fool's
right?
gold.
Fool's gold.
It's always fool's gold.
Great way of saying it. Because it doesn't lead to anything good, does it? According to what we're hearing. And West was saying, now here, let's add some drama. West was saying that Spears has been missing for 2 years. Britney Spears. She is not on the social media. She hasn't produced a video. She's just gone. And that her, well, I can say, because he said it, and that her boyfriend is using old videos with background removers and flipping the video to make it look like they're new videos. What is going on?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
ooh,
or is
I didn't
this
catch
another
the interview.
buildup of drama?
No,
Right? Or is
he's one of the few people that I know. So there you go. We're talking about how to remain authentic in the public eye. Man, I personally, and anyone who wants to jump in there and say something different, feel free. But I believe Kanye is the vision of how to remain authentic in the public eye. He is authentically himself. And before you would call him belligerent, now he's learned how to semi-tone it down to try to give it to you in a way you may understand. I got genius complex. I get it. To try, if 400 times 400, if I get it in 0.2 seconds, it frustrates me to have to deal with anyone who doesn't get that in 0.2 seconds. Because when you're a genius, you think you're average until the world shows you you're not. So everything he's saying, he's standing behind. He's lost so much money behind it. That's where it really stems from. How to remain authentic. You can't care about what they put on paper because they'll take this shit from you. I've never seen $1.6 billion in cash. So for someone to tell you you're worth that, you gotta understand that they're gonna take it back from you. They're not gonna let you have it all. And I bet it's a lot harder to figure that out when you're dealing with millions. Yeah, I can take $5,000 and put it in a loop in crypto and you'll be lost in the sauce, right? Yeah, I can do that. But imagine trying to do that with 30 million. Not to mention, I was talking the other day with someone and we were talking about what happens when things are about to become legal, but they're not yet. Can you researching into it going to be legal be considered conspiracy? Right? You studying on crypto, does that make a conspiracy that you want to put $30 million in crypto and you don't want no questions asked? If you figured out a pipeline, like I got to pay everybody around me this and then I got to tell them do this and I got to tell them do that, is that conspiracy? Some of the thoughts I have really shine in on what Ye be talking about. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but I respect that he's so authentic to himself. Me, I'm going to stay that way. I think Rick Stoner's pretty authentic to himself.
I want to pull you right back on the topic of him being authentic or what he was saying, because he was talking about this kind of stuff. And he mentioned the handlers. As soon as the handlers got involved, the authenticity starts diving, right? You can't be yourself. I think he said those same exact words. He couldn't be himself anymore. This is we should ask ourselves when we're viewing this topic and looking at the people inside of crypto, like Ben, like Gary V, are they being handled? Is that the big $1 billion boy, the other guy who's in the news there, Bankman,
Right.
is he being handled? Is he just a puppet in the show?
Once you get to a
Is there-
certain level, I guess, I don't know. Because I wish I would have met some of the real life, like I saw it firsthand. Like I should have went to Dubai in 2021. There's absolutely no reason I didn't go to Dubai in 2021. I'm telling you, you heard it here first. I was too lazy. I was sitting on my ass making money in crypto. I should have, but I had many opportunities. I wanted to go see the 50 millionaire dude who got 9,000 ETH sitting over here in 14,000 BNB at the height. I didn't meet any of those guys. And I did get to talk with people, and they had their own processes to, if they wanted to cash out, how they were cashing out. And still keeping it, like how they wanted. Like, no, I don't think nobody should know how much money you have. I don't think it should be any concern, not your government, not your neighbor, not your
Oh, that's the existential
alphabet
paradox
voice.
right now, isn't it? Fucking, how is it that you would otherwise request that you don't want your true net value to be evaluated, yet you want to put large amounts of your actual net value onto a public ledger where everybody can see it?
Well, if I'm set up enough to dodge the fuckery, I mean, imagine this: 30 million tornado cash is real. I ran 30 million through there. I shitted it to 100 wallets, and good luck.
Tornado Cash may be real, sweetheart, but it's not impossible to figure it out. All it takes is somebody to do a proper snapshot cache of the blockchain at the right time period of which you put your money in and out. It takes hours, but it's possible to actually find out who you are.
If I got 30 million, I'm willing to pay him 20,000 to give me the whole process. He gonna take it. Even the white hacker, the white hat, he's gonna take it. If he know what he doing, and he's just like, man, I don't want to be too much in your business. I just want to show you how to do it. You playing with 30 million, 20,000 is a vacation. But I didn't see any of those guys. And I'll tell you this, in Web3, it's become very difficult to find authentic people. In certain crowds, I can't be authentic. And I understand it. But that's why we have our own platforms. That's why we all have our own thing going on, because that's the only way for us to remain authentic. So I think super groups is the new wave. And
Oh, I got a great segue in this. Who out of all of the like kind of characters that we've kind of met and seen come to life over the last 2 years would you say is most realistic and authentic? Can't be a BitBoy, can't be a Gary Vee.
I'll tell you who mine is. If I had to pick who I really think deserves the Purple Heart because of valor, they was just so solid and authentic in this space, it's CZ. That's the God honest truth. A lot of people talked it. A lot of people did some fuck shit, and I've yet to see him do something stupid, like stupid, like how a shitcoin dev does stupid shit from like every other day. Like he hasn't done anything.
FTX level stupid.
FTX did some stupid shit.
Damn straight they did. They used a shitcoin to back the valuation of their entire exchange by artificially pumping it and holding it in reserve to take out loans to cross-trade and gamble with. That's FTX level shit.
We got topic 3, the legalization of sports betting in the USA. and its impacts. Have a little quick song break, drink your coffee, smoke you a joint. Man, my squad down at the bottom, y'all being pretty quiet today. I want to see y'all up here soon. I know Mark should have something great to say when we come to the sports betting shit. We'll be back in a moment. Voice of the Degens, RickeyTru, and the crew.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah. Give me your vibes. Give me your vibe. Give me your energy. Your energy. Give me your vibes. Your vibe. Give me your energy. Your energy. Give me your vibe. It's a vibe, it's a vibe. I need you to play this in your ride. Turn this shit up. It's a vibe, it's a vibe. Nigga, play this in your ride. Turn this shit up. It's a vibe, it's a vibe. I need you to play this in your ride. Turn this shit up. It's a vibe, it's a vibe. Nigga, play this in your ride. Turn this shit up. This is no witchcraft. This is no voodoo. This is the shit that make a nigga go cuckoo. Pass me a Phillips, I got a couple of screw loose. I like my pockets obese, I like my juice like my juju. Lyrical serial killer, fuck your Fruit Loops. Pay me in gold, I need my money in bukus. Y'all niggas is soft, you belong to some tutus. Push up bras and heels for your new shoes. It's rush hour, but still finding time for Mushu. Wax on, wax off, I got that sexual wushu. I miss Miyagi off the sake, I'm saucy, that's why I'm crocky. I'm free when things get rocky, it's cool cause God got me. And it's 4-5, and I'ma give you 20 to the dome, just like 4-5s. Put that grill to your patty and say, nigga, fuck your fries. Don't get your shit unplugged, boy, I'm talking no Wi-Fi. Don't be killing my vibe. It's a vibe, I need you to play this in your ride. It's a vibe, it's a vibe. Nigga, play this in your ride.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
All right, we back to topic 3. The legalization of sports betting in the U.S. and its impacts. I don't know about any of y'all. I'm going to go ahead and just unmute Mark right now because I know he on the same type of time I'm on. I like the sports book. And I like it even better that I can do it with crypto assets. It's like some of the dopest shit. You find a good book. Oh man, it's a beautiful game. They legalized sports betting in the United States. And all of a sudden it just seemed like the games are way more rigged than typical. Mark, you in the building? I get my little bet on. And I used to call games. It's like 4 or 5 years ago. I used to put, I lived in Las Vegas. And it was like easy as hell to call an 18er. I'm that guy. And I did it so much, they had me featured on Fox Sports radio with Justin Cooper and what's my guy's name? I can't remember. I smoke too much. All in all, good dude. I would hit an 8-teamer once or twice a week. Now my problem was I didn't wager really big. Like I wasn't betting thousands. Betting $20 and turning it into 500, 600, something like that on a good day, right? And even better days too. The games just seemed a lot more easier to call. And now that like everybody's got this DraftKings shit, my buddy at work just showed me today. He's like, oh man, I hit off $20, $750. Said you did that all in one game. It was a parlay in one game. Like now it's like the way they do it. I'm like, oh, that's a whole different way of gambling. I'm seeing that the world is like allowing just openly gambling. Like Zach, I see you in the building.
What about the other benefits that you got along with sitting there all day? How about some free
You
hot
said what?
dogs?
Oh, with the
How about
free,
some
yeah,
free
see,
hot dogs?
okay. Yeah, no, that's the thing. So, will you find yourself up at 4 in the morning betting on Chinese basketball, first quarters? Like, it's just not the same element as being at the sports book where you get the hot dogs. I don't know nothing about no free hot dogs. They gave them to me for $1. You get $1 hot dog, dollar drink, $2. Sit there, watch the game you betting on, a couple of games you betting on. Man, you can come in the casino with like $20. Put a nice little 6-teamer together, some $10 or two $5 8-teamers, hoping something hit. And you know, you got like a little $10 in there. Man, I can occupy a lot of time, long as you stay away from the slot machines, right? But that's not the game no more. And with this freedom, do y'all recognize the kids are betting? Believe it. But that's not just the point I want to make. I want to talk about the actual impact it has on the game directly. I was hoping Mark was going to hop in because I share memes with him on the regular and tell him, man, I would like the last one I think was, man, I lost my parlay. I'm about to rob something. It was a meme or some of some sort, right? Because you lose one game and it like crushes your whole, especially if it's a late runner. But
Well, how has the game changed? Since okay, let's say an average NBA
it's
player
fixed,
they get $500,000 a week, or every 2 weeks. They get paid just like everybody normal person, whether they win or they
right?
lose. Does that not take
That's
away some of the competitiveness about the game? Like
okay.
they get the money either way. The
I got a
money's just gone
cold
to the
analogy for you.
wayside.
I got a cold analogy for you. Okay. Rick Stoner might even like this one. Okay. George Bush, as a president, got paid $400,000 a year. If I'm not mistaken, he actually raised it from $200,000 a year to $400,000 a year. Look it up. Also, George Bush, family, big oil tycoons, doing business, even with the Bin Ladens. Look it up. If I'm wrong, don't sue me. It's my personal opinion. This is what I believe. I believe you can look it up. Let's get the same information I got. Then, towers drop. We need Bin Laden dead. They go kill him. That oil company is a $40-50 million a year company. He gets paid $400,000 a year for America as a president. Who's really your daddy?
Look, the salary of the
And
U.S. president went up. It went up in
$500,000 a week.
2001, January 1st.
You said what?
Salary of the United States president went up January 1st, 2001 to $400,000.
Am I correct? Damn. I must have researched this, huh? What did it go up to? You said 400,000?
400K. 400K.
I was
400,000.
right on the money, huh? I don't forget a thing, huh? But that's the reality of it. Who's your daddy? 400,000 a year? 40-50 million dollars a year. I like to think that I don't run shit. The company that's paying me is the one that I'm really behind. And $400,000 for a basketball player, even if it's every week, every month, I don't care what it is, someone can offer you on the side. Big companies, small companies, Nike, Asics, they all can offer you something, a little something to make their day. How do we track what corporations are into sports betting?
All of them. All of them. I mean, we got to look at a couple of things here, Ricky. What happened with the NCAA? What happened with the NCAA? You know, I mean, all those kids are now getting sponsorships. They're getting the money that they deserve. I mean, can some of these D1 kids go straight NBA? They don't have to anymore. They can live out their college career playing and making money. I mean, that's a big thing. You know, there's an athlete, I can't remember, he's a basketball player, but he promised his mom that for the first, whatever his contract was, that he would only live off sponsorship deals. And the guy's got like $89 million or some crazy number, we'll just say. But now his contract's up. He's been living his life just off his contract deals, these sponsorships, and he's got money for the rest of his life. His family has generational wealth now. Kid comes from nothing. Most of these NBA stars probably do. Like, did I play NBA? No, I could barely dribble. I could kick a ball though, you know. I did in 9th grade and I quit playing basketball. But did I sign a deal? Absolutely not. I could barely run around the track left-handed all the time. That was my thing. But I didn't get no sponsorship deals. But that's the thing, you know, some people get them breaks, some people don't. And I'm happy for those guys, you know, especially the smart ones that are doing the right thing. You know, making deals with their mom, saying, I promise I won't do this. You know, that's a man of his word. I appreciate that. The guy who says, I'm only going to spend my sponsorship deals, my sponsorship money on the things that we need. And then when it's done, we'll see where we're at. You know, people get these, what do they call them? Incentives, right? You get so many catches, so many rebounds, so many touchdowns, so many points. And if you were just to monetize those alone, just your incentives, that still beats out 95% of all regular middle class Americans. At least, I mean, I'm an American, so that's where I can say that. But those things alone, like, where does that money come from? How do they get it? How do they keep it? Most of them blow it. You look at all the lottery winners; those fuckers blow their money. What? A couple, 3 years, they're divorced. They have nothing left. They got to sell all the shit they owned, and it's kind of no different than crypto. I realized a lot of profit. I bought stuff, but it's there to be sold if I need it. I'm not going to sell my house so I can go live in a car, but I will sell a snowmobile. I'll sell an old lawnmower that I fixed up. You're fucking right, I will. But those are things that, you know, in my realm, I'll have to do, that I will do.
See, that's what Jordan's going at. When Jordan's talking the shit he's talking, he's saying, look, we had to work for those kind of contracts. We didn't, like, these kids can get the money at 15 before they've ever played in an NBA gym. Now, when you put that into the equation, they're unproven. And we keep talking about people being unproven in the world. So, like, everybody knew Victor was going to be the #1 pick in the draft this year, but he hasn't played a game yet, and he's already amassed over $10 million. You tell that's goes into my theory that, yeah, these players are taking dives or doing what they have to do or staying under or over something. When I thank God that when I played college basketball, we were not privy to the odds. We just it's not something people were looking for. You must have had to go to school in Las Vegas to even think like that. It wasn't something that nobody on my team ever talked about for years. It's crazy that now these kids know what the odds are of them winning and their personal stats.
I'm going to roll back. I'm just going to roll back for a second there, and I will preface it with sports ain't my thing. I'm not really savvy on that, especially on American sports. But I think Zach made a point about these recruits or whatever. Like, people are getting incentivized based off of milestones like touches, rebounds, points, whatever. Honestly, as somebody who doesn't like generally gamble, I really got to start asking the question of, is that ethical? Like, if you're incentivizing someone to go out and get a specific number of X, Y, or Z, does that start playing into the narrative of these companies who are working with the industry? They're essentially trying to engineer outcomes by incentivizing those milestones. And if that's the case, is it no longer gambling that's happening more or less than the house trying to engineer a result for itself over the average fan?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. To I think. I mean, what about like? So I'm a manual laborer. For years and years, I did landscaping. Right. We have where I live up in Minnesota. The upper Midwest. It freezes here. You know, some of you have seen the snow structures I built. Ricky, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen them. Like
Most
we get so much of summer. Okay, we have 3.5 months to get this work done. Our work is lined up 3 years in advance when we are landscapers because people are building, our community is growing. You need landscaping, and sometimes it's for luxury, sometimes it's for structural, and then sometimes it's both. But those people still are paying customers, and they want it. We get this work done. If my guys show up, they all say, hey, we're on the same page, let's get this money. The faster we get that work done with efficiency and productivity, the more money we make the boss man, the more money we put in their pockets. So it don't even matter. If we can do a job in 40 hours, what takes other companies 60 hours, well, we're already ahead because now we can start 20 hours more of next week. But we can take it easy, and now we're making more money. But if I
and that's
always,
the problem. That's
Yep.
the reality of all of this. That's the problem right there. I can take my time in this. Like I'm only listen. Players are looking at it like they're only expected to do these numbers. It's at a hit. They called the people who make the lines in sports betting handicappers. They're the guys who say, "Look, the Lakers are gonna win by 7.5. That's what we believe. It's gonna be right there." They pick these lines, and a lot of times they're like right on, spot on. Like people are biting their nails to the last 2 seconds of a game. They have a thing on ESPN now called Parlay Buster, where if like it's a game where they show what the spread was or what the over-under was, and then somebody scores a bucket to take it over. They accused a referee of gambling this year. And he's a referee in the NBA.
Well, why wouldn't you? The temptation's there if the framework is designed to engineer an outcome. Like Zach said, like what happens in one industry might be good, but if you try and apply the same template to a different industry altogether like this, it could be very disastrous for fair and reasonable outcomes.
I look at it
just
this
want to
way.
say point shaving's not a new thing, though.
I was gonna go there, Jordan. I was gonna go to the Jordan story, but go ahead, Mark. I'm glad you jumped in. Can I get a second of your time, sirs?
Yeah, man, my bad. I'm just driving. But yeah, like I was going to say, like point shaving isn't a new thing. Like I get it, sports betting's been around for a long time, but there's been referees back in the league that got caught doing that. And then at the same time, basketball for the longest time, you've been banned against betting on it because of that exact reason, where the ref legit got caught point shaving.
Pete Rose.
Yeah, but Pete Rose is different. I'll argue against Pete Rose. Like, Pete Rose is a piece of shit, don't get me wrong, but Pete Rose bet on his team to win every fucking time. It's never like he threw the game.
They say Jordan might have did the same. It's been a million things said about it, but this is what I will add. With the theory that now that it's legal, I tie it to something like cannabis. I remember the street dealer. I remember how he had to operate. So when the dispensaries came, his only thing was now I have to go to anybody who can't go to the dispensary. Once they said everybody can come to the dispensary, he says, well, I'm going to get better weed than them. Then they say, we're going to get our weed and make it half the price of yours. And then they wash him out, right? They get him out the way. But what is everybody stuck with at the end? Subpar ass cheap weed. See, the street man, he was bringing you prime product, and I think we don't even have prime product in the players that are in the league right now. This is the most boring NBA Finals I've ever seen. Did you bet, Mark? What have you bet on? I don't even.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I did not know.
It was a waste of my time to look at it. I'm already in baseball season. But I believe that once you legalize it everywhere, how I tied that all together is that's the impact it's going to have. You're going to have a shittier league. And you said that could be disastrous, is what you said, Q. And you were spot on with me. And it's making me question if I want to continue betting on sports, because I feel like everything is going towards sports entertainment. And I just heard a guy at my job say, man, we're trying to start a fantasy league for WWE. And I'm like, what? No way.
David, that doesn't make sense. But I mean,
it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all to me. And he was dead ass serious. We were talking about, leagues, because my man said just showed us he turned the 20 into 750. So he jumps out there deep like, man, hey, man, we got this league, fantasy league. We'll do what we picked up. Like, what? But I'm guilty. I gamble on 2K computer-generated games because I'm bored at night, and gambling is legal now. Sports betting, at least. This is the impact, though. I can't hit an 18er at all. Mark, when's the last time you hit something fat?
It's been about a month or two, but yeah, no, I know what you mean. And I feel the same about basketball, where I've been saying it all year. This year in college basketball, some of the scores have just been so widely great where you're like, no, this isn't possible. I'm watching this in front of my eyes and you're like, yo, 7 air balls in a row? Nah, bullshit. He's missing on purpose. Or to be honest with you, with you said the referee, there were 3 games this year. I got fucked and they pushed. They made it push where basically, the team was up by 8 points. Spread was 6. They gave the other two free shots at the end of the game that meant fuck all to get a chance to for a bullshit foul on a technical of celebrating the win too early. Man, suck my ass.
Vicious. I know the feeling, man. This shit's crazy. I think my final word I'll say on this topic is be careful out here, man. When everything starts going legal, man, it just means that somebody's coming to take some more of your money. So keep your head on tight, man, and go for the gold. And I don't know if Mark, I saw Goat Dev in here earlier. He popped in and popped out. I wish he would have stayed because I would have liked him to drop his ads and whatnot. But Mark, yeah, he got a nice little lounge. If you're nice, you might want to check the member list in here and find him and say, hey, man, I'd like to come hang with you sometimes and hear your bullshit. And Mark, yeah, he gets a game in a day, if you're into that type of thing. I'm definitely into that type of thing. That's the end of the topic for us. We're going to take a song break. Voice of the Degens, episode 8, topic 4 coming, coping with rejection in the music industry. A small little topic. And then we're going to talk a little bit about privacy and anonymity in the crypto space.
My nigga Delta in them plaques.
They like true, where you been? I've been getting to the money. I've been getting to the money. I've been getting to the money. They like true, where you been? I've been getting to the money. I've been getting to the money. I've been getting to the money. Still printing up all summer. Still printing in the bear market. Still gotta move with caution. These niggas out here hardly. Who gon' protect my sons? Who gon' protect my daughter? They don't even know about the culture. Don't even know how it started. New AP on flossing. Till the young nigga flossing and lost it. Started to see this shit too often. Got a pack of years still to go get coffee. Just did a show when the shot too saucy. Over your head, I Randy Mouse. I'm like, true, where you been? I've been getting to the money. 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 Still printing in a bad market. Still putting up all summer. Mike pulled up in an H3 Hummer. Yeah, they know that I'm gon' do numbers. Moved up north, don't blow my cover. I be tryna dodge the government. I be tryna dodge them ruggers. I be tryna dodge them suckers. Tell them shut up, close the shutters. I still print like I'm bugger. I'm still printing, ask my mother. If I shill it, then it's butter. If I sell it, then it's rugged. Call it damn, telling me bugging. Fucking up the contract function. They're like, true, where you been? I've been getting to the money. I've been getting to the money. I've been getting to the money. They like, true, where you been? I've been getting to the money. I've been getting to the money. I've been getting to the money. Still printing up all summer. Still printing up all. Still printing in the bear market. Still printing in the red market. I've been getting to the money. 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 They like the market dry. All washed up. We still printing in the bed though. Real Degens shit. True. I wanna thank you for giving me your ears, I guess. Degen based music. It's something different. Ride with me. Ride with me. Ride with me.
Let me get this one out the way.
Vibe with me.
Topic 4, coping with rejection in the music industry. A lot of people be talking to me. They always want to get my advice about how to really take off to another level in this space. You got to deal with a lot of rejection. Don't take that shit personal. Take it in stride. Everybody ain't going to understand your position. And it's not your job to force them to understand. It's about quantity more than quality at first, because somebody might need you for something totally different than what you actually do in music. With that said, be open to new things, be open to try new things. I heard Wiz Khalifa talk about that. Just being open to trying new things. But coping with the rejection, man, let that shit roll off your shoulder. Get it over with and hit the next company. In crypto, there's 500 companies coming out every day. There's gonna be 500 more tomorrow. There's gonna be maybe over 500 the day after that. And this is in a bear season. So once it getting the swing of things while nobody's looking. You know, a lot of people probably wanted to be in the UFC, but they didn't jump at the UFC until the UFC was already too big. There's a lot of people who wanted to be down with certain crews, you know, musically and in a whole bunch of different ways, but they just didn't get in time. It's always best to accumulate with something that you believe in, right? Especially when the price is down, right? And with the crypto market looking the way it looks, a lot of people aren't going to be able to deal with you just because it's just not going to make sense to them at the moment. That don't mean don't keep getting your music out there. That don't mean argue back and forth with someone because they're making you feel a certain kind of way about things. Shout out Neil freaking Diamond Hands. If you want to jump in there, man, go ahead, raise your hand, brother. don't let rejection define you into being something you're not either. Don't let the suggestions put you in one lane. Be wide open to many things. In this run I've been on, I've been able to do rock music, alternative music, reggae music, pop music, rap music. I've been able to get companies to buy into me just being open creatively. I just finished a song for, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say the name of the company. It's a game that's coming out. Fuck it. I'll say it out loud. Goliath. Goliath Online. I just did a song for them. And they just left it wide open for me to just be creative. And I'm still working on that right now. There's always light at the end of the tunnel in this space when it comes to like, I don't want to tell you anything about the Web 2 music industry. It's dead. And you can accumulate there too. You can put a lot of your music out and hope when it comes back around, but I don't think it's coming back around. I truly, wholeheartedly believe that Web3 is, Rick Stoner and Secret Agent Q said earlier, a lot of this shit's gonna become one click. And when Web3 goes one click access, I don't think we're going backwards. I don't think anyone's getting on MySpace. I don't think anyone's getting on GeoCities, if they even exist anymore. Things come to an end. I believe soon the end of Google is upon us. Don't let the rejection get to you. Now, moving on, which I think is going to be a great topic. Privacy and anonymity in the crypto space. Man, why can't I pronounce that word today? Somebody's going to come correct me, right? Neil freaking Diamond Hands.
Anonymity. Anonymity.
Anonymity. Man, I ain't got the time. I've been getting high all day. I heard you say it, and I still can't say it. Ain't that a bitch?
Anonymity. It's a tough one, man.
Rick Stoner, jump in here, man. How you doing, brother?
I got that enunciation. Anonymous. There we go. That's easy.
Someone heard you on my podcast the other day and immediately called you out and said he's from Canada. I can't make this up.
It's like we just keep things simpler, eh? Anonymity. Let's just say anonymous.
Anonymous, right? Why does GPT have to be so brutal with me sometimes? And if you didn't know, that's why we get the questions and all of that from ChatGPT, because they're gonna give us a broad way to look at things, and I'm also Web3. It's so I have to go there.
It's a great.
That's where I get it.
That's a great insight, Ricky. That you using ChatGPT to bring in these topics. The problem is is that every 25 episodes we're gonna revert back to the topic. Something's wrong with ChatGPT. I don't know if you've read. You've heard me.
I'm looking
give
for
a little
other
bit
ChatGPTs.
of warnings.
I like the other ones.
Same here.
I like the ones. Have you heard of Chad? Have you heard of Chad GPT?
Have you heard of who's it?
I just saw the monkey.
The Darknet
There's
one.
a monkey.
Have you seen the Darknet? The Darknet one's supposedly going to just change the whole universe, dude.
Oh man,
right?
I gotta see it.
Now
I'm gonna try them all.
Are you talking about Twitter?
No. No, I'm gonna try them all. Every single GPT that comes out, I don't even. It's so cold.
Okay,
I don't even know what the fuck GPT stands for. Let's start there.
General
I don't think it's called general fuck, but we'll try again.
We'll try again.
I think Jim Henson.
Anyway.
Jim Henson started one. It was called do 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 anonymous. Do 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 anonymous.
No, then
I think it's general processing terminal.
Rules. Oh, go ahead, secret agent.
I'm pretty sure it was general processing terminal. You put something in, it processes it, spits it out.
I just asked it crazy questions in 5 topics.
It just told me what it stands for, and it stands for generative pre-trained transformer.
Wow.
So we got the fucking Autobots and the Decepticons coming for us, guys. Like, for real.
That's what it sounds like.
But like, let's go back to that point that I made. I want you to know that if something's wrong, every 25 episodes, it seriously might actually bring us right back here again, and we're going to be talking about privacy and anonymity in the crypto space, right? And anonymity. Fucking thing.
Everybody's got it. Everybody's got the book. No, I'm okay with that too, because I believe after every one of these episodes, everybody goes home and thinks about, yo, what did I wanted to make that point. I wish I would have made that point. And it always helps to come back. But like I said, season 2 is gonna get crazy. We're gonna have a separate episode for like a critical thing. So like today, we would have went we would go tomorrow, we would go a whole hour on just why decentralized exchanges make sense. Or it might have been the one about how to remain authentic in the public eye, and y'all both expressed the new questions. We would have dove into that in a whole hour tomorrow. So that's something we're bringing. But I like to go there. Privacy,
an hour,
and anonymity in the crypto space. What does it mean to you? What is it worth to you?
Well, I'm a kind of weird material for that, because I've maintained being anonymous forever, because in the crypto space, what does it mean? There's a lot of things. There's a lot of people who get harassed as soon as they give out their real, like they go from anonymous to doxing themselves, and bad things go on. So this is quite an interesting topic that we should go right down the rabbit hole on.
Jump.
Damn straight. Because the privacy and anonymity in Web3 ties straight back to authentication and, as we said, the decentralization factor.
Right, and does a person want to be not anonymous in the crypto space? And look at how easy it's going to be with one-click Web3, right? I mean, they may as well just add an anonymous feature on top of one that's already there, because isn't money spending supposed to be anonymous? Like, the one thing years ago I said, this world doesn't know a few things. One, it doesn't know jack shit about the common gold. Number 2, it doesn't know how to police money, and it can't, because it's got a serial number on it, and there's so much of it in print. They have no idea, but they want to police it. And crypto's the answer to that, right? Crypto's not really anonymous. It leaves a footprint everywhere. So it's so strange that we have this thing that creates a footprint digitally. We're trying to make it anonymous. Like, we're literally fighting the David and Goliath fight right now in the crypto anonymity anonymous space. Ouch. What a word the GPT threw in that podcast today. It's a regular David versus Goliath battle right now. And it's hard to really see what is the right answer. Like, but I would still encourage most people stay anonymous, you know, unless like Ricky, where we go back to your credibility becomes better because you are trying to be authentic in the space also. So that's another part of spreading the word of what's right and wrong in crypto space. We need authentic people to help teach the people who are around us. Maybe you should be anonymous in this space.
Now, I believe I'm a martyr. I'm, in lack of a better term, I'm Jesus Christ on the cross for everyone else's sins, right? I feel like I can jump out there in this space and I can be a reptile where I can go in Web 2 and Web 3. I can jump around. And I'm cool with people knowing who I am. But I believe, like I said in previous episodes, I'm so happy that I'm able to keep you guys anonymous as you like to be. And I like to think that, that does help with credibility, that I do take that extra step to put myself on the chop block, and knowing that there's always more bad lurking than good, and what comes with that. And I'm okay with that. The fact that we are leaving digital footprints, right? This episode goes up on Audius. Audius is gonna stamp it, a digital stamp. It'll be here forever. What more could I ask for? There's not enough money in the world to give me, and I know Neil's not fucking gonna give it to me. Or let me say, Neil won't freaking give it to me. But the reality is that I'm never going to be able to see the fruits of my labor to the extent of what anyone would ever think, no matter how fast the clock is going. So, still come from a authentic place, but protecting the people who deal with me. Well, I've yet to find someone in this spot, in this space, that was Decepticon, that was strictly here to maliciously detour the people in the podcast, right? It's easily accessible. Anybody could do it. We'd probably give you hell. We're Degens. We're gonna make you want to hate us, right? But in reality, you're not gonna find any of these guys unless they want to be found. And if they do want to be found, you should think about it before you go and find them. That's my thoughts on, just privacy. When it comes to privacy, like, I'm more concerned that anything I say, I'm so authentic that I don't want Secret Agent Q to ever dox. I don't want Zach to dox. I don't want Neil to dox. I don't want Rick to dox. I don't want Spring is Dead to dox. Which she must have got up out of here, but I was mad I hadn't heard her voice today. She usually weighs in pretty good. The accountant gets in here and he talks his shit. I don't want these people exposed or exploited or put in a loop of some sort. This is all the thoughts of all the people we deal with on a regular basis in this space. I always want to make sure everybody understands that. Zach, talk to him.
Yes. Well, when it comes to doxing, I'm one of the first people, just like you, that comes out right on camera. You want to know who I am? Look at me on camera. Follow me around my house. Follow me around my projects I do in my yard. I share my life with people. I'm a genuine person. I know that. I don't have to prove that to no one. But when it comes down to it, come over to my table. I'll feed you. I'll drink you. I'll wine and dine you. Right? I'll give you a place to sleep. But you best bring something to the table. And if you disrespect my house, you may not leave. So keep that in mind.
It's like, do you practice cannibalism? I'm like, wow.
Well, that's really nobody's business until they need to find out.
Right, that's the whole point we making. It's nobody's business. Zach eats people, and he got two slabs of fresh horse ass in his freezer. That's the beauty of this space. And I find myself
not horse. It's not horse. It's goat.
It is a great point. It is a great point. But let's ask John really quickly a question. How do you feel it was your experience in crypto once you stopped being anonymous and with your more outgoing personality where it's like, hey guys, I'm this person? How do you feel if that affected your experience in the crypto space at all already?
Who, me?
Oh, Miller, Zilla.
Zach,
Miller,
yeah,
John Miller.
John Miller.
Zach is all right.
That was funny.
No, I thought it was funny because I put my
It
name up
definitely
as
was. I
John
know.
Miller.
I know.
The
Yeah.
most generic American name you can have is John Miller. But no,
Sheesh.
it's Zach. But when it comes down to it, Zakilla or XA, however you guys try to pronounce it, everyone looks at that name. It's Zakillaronitis, but I just tell them it's pronounced Phil. And they're like, what? What? No, but I've always been out in the public. Like I said, my life hasn't changed. Like I have to deal with a lot more shitheads because people get jealous of the fact that I am who I am. I enjoy my time the way I am. Like if you want to join me, come on. Like I'll show you this is what a real motherfucker lives like. I've got a shitty house. I have shitty projects I'm working on. I still have fun though. You want to watch me dig a hole? I'll put it on camera. I'll watch me dig a hole. There's plenty of boys over in the Degen world that watch me dig holes and build my decks and work on my projects. And
So if we convince you to shave every day and to put a Bitcoin glowing neon symbol behind you and sit in front of a desk, and then you just talk about knowing about crypto, could you feel that you might be the next Bitcoin Zilla on YouTube, or is that not part of things?
Not for
breaking
me, at
out
least.
from being not anonymous, does that give you a different ability in the space, or do you still just go unnoticed?
I think one thing that can be said here is we're all having this discussion from the reference point of a bunch of degenerates who really haven't. I don't know a lot about everybody in this bit, but if we're not, like, I'm doxxed, you can come find me if you want, but we're all talking about it from the reference of almost nobody's in this space at the moment. When we come back to it at the end of the next cycle, and at least one, if not more of us, have managed to take a coin to $100+ million market cap and then have it come back again, that's when rubber really hits the road on whether or not it was a good thing to be doxxed. Because that's when you really suffer the downside.
It's never a good thing because whether people be sick or not, whether I'm taking my chances by putting my face out there, letting people know where I live. There's also I have measures in place. I've got security cameras. I got closed CCTV, or whatever they call that. Like I've got that shit. I've got assault rifles. I've got shit that if you walk in my house, I'll chop you into fucking pieces. Like you talk about cannibalism, like you'll never find your body. He was spread across 5 states. What the fuck does that mean? Well, I'm not willing to sacrifice my family's safety. But that's the thing. That is a risk you're going to take. It's a risk that I'm going to take. I have those things. I let you know. Look, this is what it's all about. But I'm not here to hurt people. I'm here to help people. I want to show people that there's more to this world than just shit. So let's have some fun. Let's have a few laughs. And if people don't like that, well, that's something I'm going to have to take with my own grain of salt. And that's why I keep a 50-pound bag with me.
Problem. What other people think of you is none of your business.
Exactly. And there's nothing I can do about it. Now, am I sensitive? Yes. I'm a sensitive human being. I don't like when people say this or that, some things aren't true. Most people don't. But when it comes down to it, I'm willing to share the things that I've learned to help other people get out of a spot that they're in. Because I've came from a spot that was at the bottom of the gutter. I lived in my car while having 2 children. I don't want to ever do that again. I found my way out of it. The things that if you want some advice, yeah, I can give you advice, but I'm no more of a teacher than the next guy that's homeless out there. You know what you can learn from a homeless person? A lot of fucking humbleness. You can learn a lot of things.
I saw a homeless man at the gas station. He asked me for $5. I gave it to him. I asked him, "Hey, OG, how did you end up in this position?" He said, "Man, when I was coming up, man, I was making so much money, man, I just give it away, man. I was giving it to all my friends and stuff. And then when things got tight for me, When I went to go ask them same friends, they didn't have nothing for me. So I really got this position because I was giving away my money.
Because
Watch
it
this.
was
Fucking
So wait. So I snatched the $5 back from his ass and walked off. Thank you very much.
You're a
That's
bastard.
facts.
But that's accurate. That's accurate. You know,
That's
like
the
if more
story.
people,
If you got the moral of that story, you got the moral of that story.
well, look, if I flew a sign out there with a suit, freshly shaven, but without the Bitcoin behind me, but I'm out there preaching like, look, guys, I'm here for drugs and alcohol. I think more people would like, this guy's well
Send you
dressed, he's
money
well
for
groomed.
drugs and alcohol. They would send you more money for drugs and alcohol than you saying, "Hey, I'm developing something," and that's a piece of the God complex that lies in most people in general. It's a God complex. It's like I don't really necessarily think I can stomach someone being able to be better than me or doing the things that I would rather be doing. I think it lies.
Look what we did with money. Look what we did with money.
Right.
Like, and you know who I'm talking about. Like, I drove down to meet, I met Money, and I went into a world I had no clue about. The fighting world, the UFC. I tried fighting for a short amount of time, but I had 2 young kids, and my kid's mom said, I will leave your ass what if you die? I'm like, well, what if I die? Then fuck, I won't have to deal with you. But that's the years past now, I can say that. But when it comes down to it, like, I had some extra money. I gave it out. And it helped somebody. But it also brought a huge amount of people into the light. It did more than, it was more than just money. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Ricky. I'll say that.
Right.
I wouldn't be in this space without Ricky. Ricky wouldn't have some of the shit he has without some of us. But we got it's reciprocating. It's reciprocating. You know, and that's where you know those friends that come back. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, with that said, I was going to leave the floor. I was just about to leave the floor for Secret Agent Q to give us the last word on the topic of privacy and being anonymous in the crypto space. I just wanted to, I know Secret Agent Q always got some fire for me on some shit like this.
Oh, jeez, put me on the spot, why don't you?
I love to do it.
Well, basically, what I just have to go back to what I just said earlier. It's like we're all talking from one very narrow perspective in a world of which money, privacy, and anonymity are like they're almost polar opposites in some circumstances. You can't have money and stay private, except possibly in this space if you're extremely careful. But in other domains, money equals you become public attention. You get followed. You're in this space, if you are found out, your wallets get traced. You get front run. You get botted. Money comes, like, essentially the more wealth that you have, especially in a single place, the more the attention will be on you, as like whether or not it's a wallet address on the blockchain or it's us sitting around private Telegram groups, because the moment they discover that you're there and you've done something of note, they will come for you. There's nothing else I can really say about that.
I appreciate the insight. I appreciate it. And it's real. That's as real as it get. I couldn't have went no harder with it. We about to get up out of here. We're gonna get our last words and everything in, see if any projects popped up anywhere, see if anybody got some good game for us, any good news. We're gonna take a small song break. We'll be back to end it on out with the voice of the Degens. I'm your host with the most, your modern day smokesman, RickeyTru. We'll be right back.
That's us, that's not. I scanned them off from my suspect. They asked how much money I made a lot. They never ask how much I save a lot. You gotta watch out for these cameras cause they hot. Can get them out your lungs like blowing up the spot. What's that? A honey pot. Heights a million red dye headshot. He looking like the newest bullish dev on the block. And you can save a lot of time and money with the bot. And I bought the token, knew it wouldn't drop. And I know it's moving and it won't stop. What they say a lot. They ask, is that safe? Well, I scan on suspects. They ask how much money I made a lot. They never ask how much I save a lot.
All right, we back. Final topics. We got the exit notes. And as we said, we don't got no sports picks today. Now, unless Mark got something he want to talk about this week. Top trending news. Somebody tell me, Will, we got any good news in the building? Any Web3 news? Any Degen news? Any news? Any news? Good news? Bad news? No one had no good news for me? No bad news? Okay, here's the part of the show. I guess it was just a shitty week other than Binance dropping by like $70-something over the last week or so. It's declined. I didn't even see the day it bust. I didn't see it. I caught it yesterday and was like, whoa, got to change these prices on these theme songs. That was my first thought. Secret Agent Q, you got something for me?
Jeez, how did you not hear about that?
I was
basically
working, man.
It's the next phase in the complete war of the US against crypto. It's just Gary Gensler taking the next step in piece by piece trying to annihilate Binance on what is speculating to be one of four major reasons, which is it's personal, B, it's a cash grab, trying to arm wrestle the entire industry into copying payouts. It's regulation by enforcement because he's realized that his time is up in his job, or it's the fact that the SEC are shit scared about the fact that other departments in Congress have put forward draft legislation which essentially takes the nuts off of the SEC's power as a regulator for the industry.
Vicious. Well spoken.
It's massive.
I personally, I don't know how I missed it. I was working, and then I came back and I looked and it was like, I knew I had missed it a day or two because the percentages were off on I'm like, man, this is what is that? That's almost like a 30%. It's close, 25%, somewhere around there. Like, just drop. I saw, and the crazy part is, I saw the news the day the SEC filed the lawsuit. I'm gonna bring Rick Stoner in. Hey, Rick, did you have some news, or did you want to jump on that?
Well, I have a pretty strong opinion. It's just strange you brought this up because I was meditating on this. I'm like, why is this? I know why this is happening. Because the government wants you all to have shit coins. Why, might I ask? This is where I'll mute myself again. Is what do we need from them that we don't already have in Ethereum and Bitcoin?
And that's a hell of a point. That's a hell of a point. I think the only thing that people are bitching about at this point would be speed and
this is hogwash. They just want to jump in
how cheap
on the Juniper
the
ride.
fees are. How cheap the fees are.
They want to jump in on the Juniper ride, though. You know that. right? They want to be insiders in the government to be able to have whatever printed shitcoin in their hands when it hits the market, so that when it goes up in price, they get to sell and profit from generated wealth out of nothingness. You see, Ethereum and Bitcoin have been established for over a decade. Why do we need government shitcoins? Does it make, like, I do understand the establishment is going to have something, but I figure that they should just have to have Bitcoin and Ethereum. You know why? Because then we'll know exactly how much is in their Federal Reserve. We'll know how many Bitcoins their country has, that one, how much Ethereum they have. And then they can use that and disperse that. And then maybe
That's
the
how
wealth
you
and the whole
lose.
civilization will, yeah.
That's how you lose wars. That's why when we were talking about privacy and being anonymous, I mean, do you really want to give the enemy, the unknown enemy, you know nothing about them, and they're trying to know everything about you? Do you really want them in your business? I'll ask this.
But the
Do we have
answer
any?
to that is
Go
gold.
ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the answer to rebuttal
Yeah.
that is gold. Well, that's why we have gold, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Except we don't.
But those
we don't.
precious metals,
Right. We don't have it anymore.
Ore still, right?
We don't have gold anymore,
Oh,
and
you are
it's
right.
hell
Like
to
how
get it.
they,
It's
there
hell
is
to get
that.
it. It's
There are
hell to get it.
countries
And
have
no. Yeah, but the tax on it is 1% is 1%, but 1% of a billion is that's a lot of money. And even if you're being taxed just at 1%, like everywhere, but they're taxing way more than 1%, is what I'm saying. And I think about it like I think about smart contracts. Hell, I'm buying in at 5% tax and I'm getting out at 10% tax. That's 15% round trip. They got money up out of me that even though that number, even if they got 15%, but I cashed out $1,000, I feel like I won. No, they won. Because if you want to get back in or you want to do it again or go for this, you're gonna repeat that process. That's why the DEXs are eating. I don't want to jump too far into that since we're at the end. That's another topic we can line up. I wanted to know if anybody, or we can continue with, I wanted to know if anyone had any crypto plays for the day. Shill your shit. If you wanted to shill your shit, go ahead, raise your hand. Let me know. I get you in here. Everyone's they're just relaxing and loving the conversation. We'll continue. Rick, go ahead. You still there, Rick?
Yes, sir. Just sending you some detailed data.
Okay.
As far as like,
It's a
As
game
far
of
as us,
control.
like-
Before I forget, they want control. It's always that.
And that's what it really comes
Thank
down
you.
to. That's what it
And
really
the
comes
greed
down to.
comes with that control, right? Like greed and control and all that. And it's just, you know what could happen? We could have the most super hyperinflation we've ever seen in our lives as a government's all trying to transition out of fiat wealth and into digital wealth, backed by nothing. Like until they have Bitcoin. And this is what I fear the most, is that they're going to use their digital cryptos to acquire Bitcoin. But that's actually going to work out good for us, because then Bitcoin's going to go flying in a price that you've never could even imagined.
And whoever else is holding, they're killing.
No matter what.
And whoever else is holding, they're killing.
They're all going to fight to just kind of like undermine each other with distrust, using their government currencies to destabilize fiat until your fiat can't buy anything. Like
That's a story.
What's
That's
happening
a story
with
that I
BNB
want.
right now? What CZ?
BNB's at CZ with the lawsuit.
Yeah, but it's going down. Everybody's panicking. They're getting scared. Tactics? I don't know. Seems like tactics to
I'm
me.
accumulating.
I mean, come on now.
I'm accumulating.
No, I am too. But who
There's
else
some
who's
pretty
got more money
serious
than me?
tactics in play right now. BNB tanking is not just the fact that they got sued. There's also the fact that the SEC have taken emergency control of Binance US, essentially. They've shut down all the US pairings to on Binance now. Basically, the US is really going hardcore at cutting themselves off from the world. And on top of that, Nigeria also made it illegal for Binance to operate in their country as well, to top it off.
But what does that do good, though?
That's
like
where
really.
dollars went.
The credit reporting system, the World Economic Forum, is going to make sure that they can get what they can get. Collateral damage is nothing to them. We're all collateral damage, right? We're all a bunch of degens. What do we know? We don't know shit. So why not just let it happen?
Man, we are not even ants to the machines that are functioning in this environment.
Yet we're the most educated people out there that they could have. Yet they don't reach out to us to say, "Hey, could you help us with this?"
They will.
Shit, we could work together.
They're not nice like that. They're gonna put charges on your ass and tell you you're gonna come help them. Is what's gonna happen. If that was the case, they do what they do.
They'll draft your ass.
Right, they'll draft your ass.
I'll take the bullet.
Will not be surprised when North Korea hacks into the Federal Reserve shitcoin bank, steals 90% of its wealth, and then you go to the store to buy a jug of milk and it's $38. You won't be. You won't.
And you're saying crypto caused that. And you're saying crypto
hacker
that.
is going to log into Israel and steal all their wealth, and he's going to deposit it to Nigerian prince. Right? Like.
So we could go get land over in Nigeria while operating in Siberia. Oh, wait, that's Minnesota. No. I think it's much larger than that. Rick, I think you're onto something. I think you're very onto something. But there's way.
My bad, Zach. What was that?
No. I think it's more than what Rick is saying. I think it's bigger than that. Like the World Economic Forum, it's not just country by country. It's the world. There's a certain level of people that are taking all of our shit. And Rick is spot on. It is going to be Nigerian Prince, but who's behind him? Who's behind him?
Chaffee Joe Fur. Well, I'll get to my exit message. Control. No matter if you think it's not, if your hands are tied behind your back, you are not in control. You can still control your legs, but you're not in control. They take your brain, they take your mind. You're no longer in control. Yes, you control your bodily functions. What controls it? As Zach said, who's behind the Nigerian prince? See, it's all about control. Now, as I go to bed tonight, after a long day, chilling with my Degen friends, my thought will be, how do I take control inside of control that wants to control me? How do I gain control in a control that wants to control me? And I'll leave everybody with that thought for the night. Once again, my name's RickeyTru. It's been another wonderful episode of Voice of the Degens. I'll be seeing you guys next week. For the record, we do have episode 7 getting uploaded as we speak. So everything should be good to go by tomorrow. Take care. Stay fresh. Stay responsive. Stay elevated. And stay player.
We on the beat, I bet it's a classic.
Straight Degen. Degen shit only, that's all I know. I eat, sleep, and shit this.
My nigga Delta in them pots.
I'm a Degen and you know we popping out at every project. Still printing, we ain't worried about no bear market. I just ape shit, never lay shit. Check my playlist, voice of the Degens, but this time I'm going hard. 750 for the song is where I started. 90 days I want 7 1/4. And nothing less than 10 E for the performance. And I might cheat out on your project while I'm performing. Boy, fuck your project, fuck your CA, fuck your TA. Boy, I'm the judge and I'm the jury and the DA. Plus I got clout, plus my rap, and I'm really based. And they mad cause I'm bullish and they really ain't. But I think it's about time for a VC raise. Yeah, I think it's about time for a VC raise. I'm a DJ and I'm on TG VCs every day. And they mad cause I'm bullish and they really ain't. Multi-wallet sniper buys, yeah, I'm lit. Yeah, only thing I'm thinking about is rich. How I get it, how I did it, how it does it. Gotta love it. But fuck your scammer, Dev, he know my E in this. Yeah, he better act like he know me, I'm about to try to catch a kick and I'ma summons crypto away. And he gon' do what he do best, but that is not me. He's there sloppily, don't play properly. Two heads better than one, guess they sign me. Oh, they don't like me, okay, find me. Yeah, try me.